Yo, what's going on people, welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make hard melodies for people like Lil Baby, Future, Nardo Wick. Let's get into it. So before I show you anything, this is the loop that we're working with today. So the first sound that I'm using is this Enter the Void synth pad from Analog Lab 5, and all this is doing is playing a top lead here, and then I've also got some root notes playing along at the bottom here. All this does is start off on the root note, which is A minor, and then I play between these semitones here. Playing between one semitones always gives off a dark feel, and then I go back up into it, and then it just repeats that, and then it's just playing some simple root notes which duplicate over, except this part here is put up an octave on the second half, and altogether that sounds like this. And although that sounded cool, it sounded a little bit full on and high pitch, so I whacked on a half time and left it as it was. And then the last thing that I added was this time rotation from Portal, and I put the dry down here to about 30%, and then with both of those effects it sounds like this. So the next sound that I'm using is this Noir Pure piano, and that is just playing this. So for this piano, all I'm doing is following the root notes and then messing between these two semitones here, just all the way throughout it, and then I've added a top line here, and then it descends down all within key. As you can see, I've got the scale highlighting on A, so all the light grey notes, they're in key, and I've just messed around with anything that works in key at the end. And then at the end here, I've just added it up an octave as well. It just adds energy, ready to go back into it. And for the mixing, I've added a fruity reverb, and I've added an RC Retro 20, and I left it on the preset, except I turned the noise and the distortion and the wobble down all a little bit. And I've got this EQ here where I'm just compressing some of the high to mid-range frequencies, just so that it's a little less sharp on the ear. And I've panned the piano and the pad that I showed you before to the left and to the right each, just so that they have their own space within the mix. And next up is this little accent here, which I got from my guy Tico from First Select, and that's just playing this. So the one above is how it originally was, but I just chopped it up and put a second part here, and then I've just faded it in so that it's not too sharp and doesn't click at the beginning. And all I've done for this one is put a reverb on it, and I've panned it to the right by 20%. The next thing that I've added is this growler Moog bass from Omnisphere, and that is just following the root notes, and that sounds like this. And the last sound towards this melody is called Dirty Lead, which is from Analog Lab 5. And kind of similar to the piano melody, I just messed around with notes that work within key. I've just messed around with the lower octave and then going up, and then just notes that work within key in the middle of it. And what this does is slide between the note if you overlay them. So as you can see here, this one goes on a bit longer while this one plays during the end of it, so it slides into that one, and altogether that sounds like this. And for the mixing on this one, I've got a fruity chorus at about 30%, and then I've got a reverb, and then I've also got an EQ taken out the low ends, and I've also done the same on this little EQ at the bottom right here. So once I made the loop, I wanted to stem it out so that I could send it out to people, and I've just put a main part here where everything is going on, and then I've taken out certain parts at different points around here, and then this automation here is for the pad because it just reverbs for so long, so I just made sure that it faded it out a lot quicker, and then I've also put all the stemmed out parts here. Okay, so this is some drums that I did to it. That beat was just a rough quick idea, it's not arranged or mixed properly or anything, and I also re-pitched it down 3 semitones just because I didn't like a bass in A minor. But anyway, if you want to use the loop, just hit me up, I'll send it to you, and I'll send more like this as well. But if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to subscribe, leave a comment down below what kind of stuff you want to see next, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.